Hey, welcome back to me, June Poppy's Kitchen. Today we are going to make a gluten-free cookie that you're not only going to say, oh, that's good for a gluten-free cookie, you're going to say, that is a good cookie. So let's get started. Okay, so in all honesty, I've never made this cookie before, but I have a good eye for recipes, and I think this one is going to taste like a regular cookie. It's got lots of delicious ingredients in it, and although it's gluten-free, it looks like it's just going to be delicious. So let's get it going. Okay, so here's the ingredients. You're going to start with 2.5 cups of rolled oats, the certified gluten-free rolled oats. If you're not doing this because you're gluten-free, use any kind of oats you want to. And you're going to just pulse this for just, I'd say, 20 seconds in a food processor, and it makes a coarse flour out of the oats. I've got a banana bread recipe. I've got a video about it, that you make it with the oat flour that you make yourself, and it's my favorite banana bread. So I'm thinking it's gonna be really good in the cookies too. Okay, so you start with that, and then 2 cups of gluten-free flour. Again, if these don't have to be gluten-free, you can use any kind of flour. So what it says is we're going to combine the dry ingredients. So we're going to add the ground oats to the gluten-free flour and just stir this together. Then we add a tablespoon of cornstarch. And she said, let me see what she said about the cornstarch. Okay, she says adding some cornstarch gives the cookies a softer, chewier texture. You only need a little bit, but it does wonders. That sounds good to me. Okay, so a tablespoon of cornstarch. And then you're going to add a teaspoon of baking a teaspoon of baking powder and a teaspoon of baking soda, and 1/2 teaspoon, I've got both of those in here, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Okay, and then you stir all of this together, make sure it's good and combined. And then we're going to go to our stand mixer, which if you have a hand mixer will work just as well. And we are going to combine a cup of softened butter, which is 2 sticks. And then, let's see what it is, a cup of brown sugar and a cup of sugar. A lot of sugar, but this is a cookie. Okay, and that's the 3 ingredients we have right now, and we are going to cream this for 2 to 3 minutes or until smooth, light, and fluffy. This is my special gluten-free bowl that I have for Poppy when I make him treats. Okay, so I'm gonna get that going. It's gonna go for 2 or 3 minutes, and I'm gonna see what we're doing next while that's beating. Then we're gonna add 2 room temperature eggs, one at a time, mixing to incorporate fully before adding the next day. And then we add in, I think it's a teaspoon and a half, yes, of vanilla extract. Then we'll add in the dry ingredients we've already kind of mixed up. Put in the chocolate chips, and we're good to go, except for I am adding toasted pecans, because I love pecans in any kind of chocolate chip or oatmeal cookie. And so what I did is I toasted these in the microwave. I just put them on the bowl. These were not frozen, so I just did them for a minute, and it makes the biggest difference. You can just smell the toasty pecans. It's so good. If they're frozen, do it for 2 minutes. If they're not frozen, you can just do it for a minute. Okay, I'm gonna let that keep eating for another minute or 2, and then we'll get to adding everything together. Okay, so it says to, after you've let it beat and get fluffy, add the eggs one at a time. And it says to beat it just until incorporated, that you don't have to keep it on there long. then egg number 2. Then it says to mix in the vanilla, a teaspoon and a half. Yes, this is homemade vanilla. I have a video about that. Because I love vanilla, I'm doing about 2 teaspoons instead of a teaspoon and a half. Mix that in. We are going to scrape down the sides, and then we add the dry ingredients, half of the dry ingredients, and then the other half. And again, just kind of until combined. You're not doing it for long. See what a simple recipe. But I think it's going to be so good. Okay. And I'm going to add this last half of the dry ingredients. Starting slowly so we don't get a bath in oat flour. Okay. It says just until incorporated, so there must be a reason, so I'm not going to beat it any longer than that. Now we are adding in the chocolate chips, and this is where I'm going to deviate again from the recipe because she adds a cup of semi-sweet or dark chocolate chips and then a cup of chocolate chunks. And I don't like that much chocolate chips in my chocolate chip cookies. I might be one of those. There's some dry at the bottom. That's why I'm kind of stirring this in. I may be alone in that, or some of you may be saying, yeah, I don't like a ton of chocolate chips either in my cookies. I mean, I like the chocolate chips. I just don't like it being loaded down with chocolate chips. But I'm adding my pecans now, and then I'm adding a cup and a half of just semi-sweet chocolate chips. And this was thick, so it says you can either do it with the mixing bowl or with a spatula. I'm gonna do this in the mixing bowl, just a little, till the chocolate chips are stirred in good. Okay, that's all you need. And then we are supposed to cover this with plastic wrap and chill it in the refrigerator for an hour before we scoop it out. But I don't want to wait an hour. So to try it. So the reason that you do that is so that it doesn't spread out. It stays kind of more in its original shape if it's chilled. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a few so that we can taste them right away. And then I'm going to chill some and do it. And we can do a little test. We can do a little comparison. So I am going to do maybe 3 or 4 right now. And then I'll chill the rest because that's what I was told to do. So I'm just scooping it out with a little small cookie scoop. I'm going to do 4 of them. 350 for 9 to 11 minutes. And she says for 9 to 11 minutes or until the edges look golden brown and set and the centers look just underdone. I thought that was interesting, and I like the sound of that. I love cookies that aren't overbaked. Okay, so I'm going to do that for 9 to 11 minutes, although on that cooking stone, the baking stone, takes a little bit longer, so mine will be a little bit longer, probably 12 or 13 minutes. And then I'll show you what it looks like, and we'll taste them. Okay, I believe the edges are browned, and the middle looks a little undercooked, which is exactly how she described it. And they smell and look so good. Okay, so her suggestion is when you take it out to sprinkle a few chocolate chips on top and then to sprinkle some flaky sea salt, which I don't have. I wished I did. I do have coarse sea salt, so I am going to sprinkle just a little because that does sound really good. But I am not sprinkling any extra chocolate chips just because of what I said earlier. I don't love them. They're okay. Okay. Now this is going to be hot, but what's better than a hot cookie? Okay, remember at the very beginning when I said that hopefully you're going to eat this cookie and you're not just going to say, oh, that's a good gluten-free cookie. You're going to say, that's a good cookie. That's a good cookie. And that doesn't taste gluten-free at all. It like I would never in a million years guess that this is gluten-free. It's delicious. Poppy, you want to try a cookie? Nope.
Do I want to try a cookie?
It's oatmeal chocolate chip.
Me just hit it out of the ballpark again. It's good.
Really, that is so good.
Yep. Not my so do.
All right, so I'm gonna let the other ones keep chilling and do them and see if they do any differently. I don't see how they need to be done any differently. These are perfect. But anyway, so gonna do that, and then I'll take a picture and show you the difference between the chilled and the not chilled. But perfect recipe. This is so good. That was easy, delicious. I love the texture of the oat flour in there. You can tell it's a little, I don't know, more textured, but so good. Like you wouldn't if you didn't bake them and didn't know what was in there. You would just think, ooh, I like the texture of this. You wouldn't know what it was. But anyway, so good. 100% recommend. All right. Thanks for watching.